The hall was glowing with crystal chandeliers and polished marble floors. The bride, Emily Carter, stood quietly at the side, her white gown flowing elegantly, her posture calm but proud. She carried herself with grace, but the whispers around her cut sharper than knives. At the groom's family table, the snickering was loud enough for everyone to hear. Mother-in-law, loud with disdain, "Look at her dress. Simple, cheap. My son deserves someone who knows class. Not this." Sister-in-law, mocking, smirking, "She barely talks to anyone. Probably embarrassed. Maybe her family couldn't even afford to show up." The camera cuts to Emily's hands, slightly trembling, not from fear, but from holding back anger. She adjusts the ring on her finger, her face unreadable. They thought she was quiet because she was weak. They thought her silence meant shame. But in that silence, Emily was measuring every word, every insult, and every single person in the room. The groom, Daniel, laughs nervously, trying to impress his family. Instead of defending Emily, he joins them. Daniel, chuckling to his friends, "Well, at least she looks decent enough for photos, right? I guess money can't buy style." Everyone laughs. The camera zooms in on Emily's face, the flicker of pain quickly replaced by cold steel in her eyes. They humiliated her at her own wedding banquet. What they didn't know was who she really was. And by the time they found out, $950 million would already be off the table. The master of ceremonies invites the family for toasts. One by one, Daniel's relatives raise their glasses. Uncle, slurring with wine, chuckling, "To Daniel, may he always be the breadwinner, since clearly his bride won't be bringing much to the table." Laughter erupts across the family table. Emily simply sips her champagne, her eyes steady on the glass. Cousin, loudly whispering to the others, "She didn't even invite her own family. What kind of woman shows up alone to her wedding banquet?" Maybe they were too embarrassed by her. Emily's lips curl into the faintest smile, one that no one notices. They thought her silence meant defeat. But in her silence, Emily was already deciding how this night would end. Daniel leans closer to Emily at the table, speaking in a hushed voice so only she can hear. Daniel, mocking, smug, "You know, Em, my family's right. You don't really fit in here. But hey, at least you married well. That's something you can be proud of." He pats her hand like she's a charity case. Emily doesn't flinch. She just looks at him, long and hard. Emily, calm, cold whisper, "Are you sure you want to finish that sentence, Daniel?" Daniel smirks, misreading her calm for weakness. The best man jokes about Daniel joining his father's company soon, and how their little empire will keep growing. Emily's expression doesn't change, but her eyes flash for a moment, like someone who already knows more than she should. They saw her as an outsider. What they didn't see was the empire she carried in her own name, the kind that could buy and sell this family 1,000 times over. The music swells and the couples move to the dance floor. Daniel's sister smirks and deliberately bumps Emily's shoulder. Sister-in-law mocking loudly, "Careful, don't trip over your dress. Or maybe you don't know how to dance in places like this." The guests laugh again. The humiliation is no longer whispers. It's public. Emily straightens her shoulders. Her calm presence unsettles one of the older guests, who leans in to whisper to Daniel's mother. Older guest, concerned, "You might want to stop. That girl, she doesn't look afraid. She looks like someone who's already decided something." But the mother-in-law waves her hand dismissively. Daniel clinks his glass, drawing attention. Daniel, mocking toast, "To my lovely bride, who may not bring money or class or connections, but at least she brings a pretty face, and sometimes that's enough." The room erupts in laughter. Even the waiters exchange uncomfortable glances. Emily calmly sets her glass down. Her voice cuts through the laughter, cold and steady. "Emily, you've all had your fun. Are you finished?" The room quiets for a second. Then Daniel bursts out laughing again, slapping the table. Daniel, "Oh, look, she found her voice." Emily rises slowly from her seat. Every eye follows her as she adjusts her gown, her movements deliberate, almost regal. Emily, soft but commanding, You mock me for not bringing anything to this table, but you have no idea what I've already taken off it. The family stares, confused. Emily's lips curl into that faint, knowing smile again. In that moment, the laughter died, because deep down, even before she said it, they felt it. Something was coming, and when it landed, it would shake the ground beneath their feet. The laughter has died down. Emily stands tall in the center of the banquet hall, her calm gaze sweeping over every mocking face. Emily, steady voice, you've spent the night mocking me, calling me cheap, unworthy, silent. But silence is not weakness. Silence is choice. And tonight, I choose to speak. Her words echo through the hall. The family shifts uncomfortably. Daniel forces a laugh. Daniel, rolling eyes. Oh, here we go. The dramatic speech. What are you going to do, Emily? Cry? Walk out? Emily tilts her head slightly, almost pitying him. From her small clutch purse, Emily pulls out a sleek black folder. She places it gently on the head table, right in front of Daniel's father, the man who had been bragging earlier about their company empire. Emily, cold, deliberate. Inside this folder are the final contracts for the Carter Holdings-Anderson Group merger, a merger valued at $950 million. The father-in-law freezes. His hand hovers above the folder, trembling slightly. Gasps ripple through the room. The guests murmur, Carter Holdings? As realization begins to dawn, Emily steps closer, her voice sharp but calm. Emily, you mocked me for not inviting my family. The truth is, my family doesn't need your approval. They own half the skyline you brag about at your dinner parties. Carter Holdings isn't just a name, it's my family's name. And I was here tonight to see if Daniel and his family were worthy of being part of it. Daniel's face drains of color. His mother covers her mouth. His father flips through the papers, his eyes wide as he sees the signatures. Emily, final blow. But I've seen enough, and I choose to cancel. Effective immediately. Daniel leaps to his feet, panicked. Daniel, stammering. Wait, Emily, I didn't mean any of it. They were just jokes. You know how family is. Emily turns her gaze on him, cold and unyielding. Emily, a man who laughs at his bride to impress a room doesn't deserve a bride or a fortune. Her words slice through him harder than any slap. And in that moment, the banquet hall froze. The family who had mocked her now sat in silence, realizing the empire they had just lost with their laughter. $950 million, gone in a single sentence. The banquet hall is silent. Daniel's father collapses back in his chair, the folder still in his trembling hands. His empire, the deal that would have doubled their fortune, gone. The mother-in-law who mocked Emily the loudest stares in horror. Mother-in-law whispering, 950 million? Guests whisper, stunned. The same mouths that mocked her now hang open in disbelief. Emily slowly picks up her glass of champagne. She raises it in a final toast, her voice steady and regal. Emily, to those who measure people by wealth and status, be careful. Sometimes the one you laugh at is the one writing the checks. She sips, then sets the glass down with finality. The sound echoes like a gavel. Without another word, Emily turns and walks toward the doors. Her gown trails behind her like a banner of quiet victory. Daniel rushes after her, panic in his voice. Daniel pleading, Emily, wait, please. We can fix this. I'll make it right. Emily stops at the doorway. She turns just enough for him to see her face. Calm, powerful, untouchable. Emily, the only thing broken here, Daniel, is your family's pride. Goodbye. She walks out. The heavy banquet doors close behind her with a thunderous finality. They mocked her, humiliated her, treated her as if she was nothing. But in the end, it wasn't the bride who lost a family. It was the family who lost a fortune. $950 million, gone, because they couldn't see past their arrogance. She walked out not just as a bride, but as a woman who proved once and for all, dignity has no price. Tell me this, what's worth more, a billion-dollar deal or your dignity? Drop your answer in the comments below. And if Emily's story made your heart race, Don't just watch silently. Hit that like button, subscribe to Echoes of Dignity, and share this story with someone who needs a reminder. Never underestimate the quiet ones. Because here, every story is more than revenge, it's justice.